Party.
Hello, welcome to the party.
Hi, I've never met you before.
I know.
Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.
Hi, and welcome back to Just Two Guys. Unfortunately, today it's just one guy, me. So I guess you can go ahead and, go ahead and turn off the TV if you want, but it's just me. John Anderson's out today. But I have a very serious issue to address on today's show. Before we get to a special guest, we have the one and only Tom Shafer of Public Access Television. So I'm really looking forward to interviewing him, and frankly, I'm a bit on the scared side, so hopefully that'll work out. Anyway, as we do these public access shows, we start to become more known around town. Unfortunately, we became aware that there was some paparazzi stalking John and I in the Washington Park area on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. And so we received an envelope with pictures, and I guess it was an attempt to blackmail us, extort us in some way. But in the showbiz business, there's something we like to do. If there's a scandal out there, it's kind of what we call getting in front of the problem before the problem gets in front of you. And that's what we're going to try to do today, try to address these pictures they took in a nice little setup slideshow, just so we can defend ourselves before anybody gets a hold of it. So we're going to go to these slides now. All right, a day in the park with just two guys. We went for a picnic. Beautiful day, bringing in the plates. John's already there, set up with the picnic basket. Walking up there. We pull out the plates, ready to have a delicious lunch. And I spot, what happens to be in there. Unfortunately, the food was left behind, and we were left with some of Grandpa's old cold medicine. That's out of context right there. This was before we realized what was in there. We assumed that might have been less alcohol and more apple juice, so we went ahead and took just a slight swig of it, and it was all right. John tried a little, I tried a little more. It was all right. It was a pretty good drink. As you can see, John kind of thought it wasn't that bad, but it's not as bad as it looks. That would appear that I was finishing it off. Well, see, now this is out of context, because typically when John and I like to go out for lunch, we typically do take our late afternoon nap, and so this you might see this appear. Yeah, this is just napping. This isn't what it might appear to be, so don't take that out of. Yeah, that's just a bad move along from that picture. So after we had our picnic, as you can see, we didn't enjoy ourselves. We took our nap. We headed over to the swings, and we brought our picnic basket over there. See, there was no kids. We didn't shove the kids off. This got a little hairy, this situation here. But again, it's a little out of context. We started swinging. It was a little fun. We haven't, it's kind of a childhood thing to do. So we're having fun. Good action shot by the paparazzi. And we decided we'd take a little jump. So there we are, jumping. It didn't turn out as well as we had wanted, being the 30-year-olds that we are. Well, I kind of flew a bit. John got up pretty high there. He came down. Yeah, that's kind of the aftermath. I wasn't in as much pain as it appears to be. John certainly wasn't in that. I don't remember that photo. I don't remember that at all. I think that might have been from the previous napping incident. Oh, okay, and here, we saw a dog in the park. So as you can see, John spotted the dog, so we started heading over to it. Obviously, we knew this was not a real dog. when we were. John's not really trying to take a stick and swing it. That's just not. That's not. And that, obviously, we knew it wasn't a real dog. We wouldn't have been acting like that. We got to get past that. Anyway, and towards the end of our day, we were kind of looking for some trees to climb, and so we found this nice little tree out in Washington Park. As you can see, the colors are beautiful. John's a little better climber than I am, as you could probably tell. So he kind of took a little step up there. I helped him up, and that's kind of a painful shot. Again, that's a little out of context. He's not in as much pain as it looks. So then he calls me up to get up there. So I'm trying to kind of get myself up there. I have a little trouble, and he says, "Let's go all the way to the top." That's what John's saying right there. So I reach my hand out, and as I'm trying to, well, that's not exactly what happened. It does look like John's in a bit of peril. I am not laughing at John. I was trying to call for help at that point. At this point, I'm looking for a possible ambulance in the area. John's still laid out. I'm still looking around. See how this can be taken out of context. I was not running away from the scene of this incident. John, I haven't seen John since these photos were taken, unfortunately. But I just wanted to get out in front of this situation and make sure the air was clear. We did not have a wild and crazy day in Washington Park. This actually was one of our normal days. It just, again, these photographers and Photoshop, they can make things look really strange and out of text. Well, I'm going to get on with the interview section of this show. Again, I'm a little frightened right now, but I think I should make it all right. Tom Shafer is going to be on the show from the Shooting Sport, and we'll see you in a minute. Thanks. And welcome back. Royal. John's not here, obviously, so I'm doing this alone. I've got the all-star of public access television, Tom Shafer. I'm sure you all know who he is. You've seen him do his work, and we're lucky enough to steal him away from his home life. And so here you are, Tom. You're on our show. It's probably rare for you to get out and do someone else's show, but welcome, and please tell me, how long have you been on Access for?
Longer than I like to admit to. So you're just two guys, but I only get one guy?
Well, I tell you what.
Should I be insulted?
No, I tell you what. It's a mystery what happened to the other guy, and so I took advantage of this opportunity to have my own show to pull in another all-star to support me.
How quick they move on, right? I'm sure he's happy with that.
You know, he claims he'll come back after the show, but see, he didn't know that we were doing a Tom Shafer show.
You got him. You're going to leave him a little bit, aren't you? You're not going to run away with the whole deal, are you?
Well, if this show's a hit, it could possibly be with you on here.
It can't be. It won't be because of anything that I do. I tell you, I'm flattered. I'm happy for the invite. It's, cable has been good to me.
How many shows have you done?
Do
you know?
I think I heard a number like 340 the other day.
That's like Gunsmoke. That's huge.
It's, Seinfeld got $1 million for his last few episodes,
right,
and they begged him not to quit.
Right.
I think for $1 million an episode, I could have churned out a few more before I would have gave it up. You know what I mean? But no, I give it away. It's a pleasure. It's a gift. If anybody gets any good out of it whatsoever, it ain't up to me. I just try to get that one little half hour, as good as I can.
It's a bit of a controversial show, isn't it, Tom? I mean, you do some stuff that make people a little uncomfortable.
They call me. Here I am, trying to calm down. In my later years, frail, older like I am, and they say, go off on them more. We like it when you go off on them. And I'm like, I didn't think you'd like any of that. Oh, that's all we like. That's all we want you to do. So here I am. First, they said, don't do that, don't do any of that. So then I did that, and it was a big hit. They said, do more of that. I said, well, I don't want to do that no more. And then they said, well, I said, I'm trying to calm down. No, we want you to go off more. We like it when you go off on more. So I don't know. I'm just trying to think it up as I go along. Here they didn't want me to do it at all, and I did it anyway. Then it's a big hit, and they want me to do more of it, so I want to get the heck out of it. So,
well, I mean, but you've found your niche. So you go to that edge, the edge. You're going off on people, and you're doing this and that. Are people scared of you?
I see. That was funny too, because I've had people come up to me. You drop a few political names of some powerful, rich, millionaire political people.
Right.
Like guys that I don't want to mention. Like Cellini.
Okay.
And they're like, you're walking around like this. Tom, they're going to kill you. You're walking around like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, what should I walk around like that for? Who could possibly be mad at just compiling a little bit of stuff that's already been in other media, maybe putting a funny spin on it? A little bit of satire shouldn't get you killed. But
it shouldn't. But
did you hear that? What was that noise back there?
I did hear a little creak.
No, I'm not. It doesn't worry me a bit that I heard it again. Okay, yeah. So it's no, I sleep like a baby.
Do you?
Occasionally I wet the bed, but that's.
Do you have a gun under your pillow?
Hey,
you are the shooting sport.
A guy called me and he says, you got them all over your house there, don't you? You just got them all over your dang house, don't you? And I says, yeah, I do. And I says, I'm trying to figure out something where I can electrocute people over the phone that call and bug me, because I says, I done got all my regular people run off out of my neighborhood, but I says, these phone people now are bugging me. So he quit calling.
Well, so who do you have your biggest beef with?
I went out there. I watched American Sportsman as a kid. My brother and I liked it. It was a guy show. They did a bunch of guy stuff. They'd catch a big fish or they'd hike up a mountain. And I thought, I'm going to do a show like American Sportsman,
Yeah.
And then the college, oh, my God, a gun guy's coming out. And I thought, no, it's not like that a bit. It's a sports show.
Yeah.
So I guess the level of fear has gone up in the world, since American Sportsman was on the air.
Of people like you?
Well, I think of everything that's new, everything that's creative, everything that's, that they don't understand or that they're not a part of. And I can't blame them. If somebody's got a good go and somebody's going to mess it up, they would be reluctant to be a part of that.
Right.
And I could certainly understand that. But I felt like, I had a right to do the show. Cable access was available. Congress passed the law that you could be on it. And very few limitations, no editing, no censorship. And I read all the radicals of the 60s, Rubin, Hoffman, Bobby Seale, all these radical leftist guys. And they were trying to do pirate radio. They're trying to do these cheap little leaflet flyers, on the sly. They could only imagine being given an entire cable channel of 87,000 homes potentially and a whole half hour every week to say whatever the heck they wanted to. And I thought, well, I can do a lot more than just what's being done on there. So I just took full advantage.
Well, here you are, and now you've taken, like we've said, you've taken on some public figures, some public issues. Do you consider, with your ability to have free speech here, do you consider yourself a guardian of public interest? Are you?
There is an unseen hand that looks over the shooting sport. You realize that, don't you? There's an unseen hand that looks over me. Otherwise, I'd have been dead a long time ago. So, the way my show goes. So, I just got done last night putting George Ryan's, scalp up on my wall. So that's, if you count, but who's counting? You know what I mean?
Yeah. How many scalps do you have?
I mean, I send them flowers when they go to prison, and I send them, cards, and I call up the feds and say, can you give me his inmate number, this latest congressman that just bit the dust. But they don't write back. I don't understand that. I write to them. I'm courteous. I enclose some stamps.
Yeah.
They don't write to me.
That's rude.
I feel, sadness. I feel
rude.
loss. My penmanship is poor, and it's hard for me to churn out one of them handwritten letters, and then don't even get the courtesy of a reply. I don't understand.
You can't imagine they get too much mail anyway.
It must be tough for them in there. It's fortunately I've never been. How is it in prison?
Don't look at me.
I'm sorry. I've been misinformed.
Well, okay. So what's the biggest conspiracy in Springfield that you've come across that you've uncovered?
I hope,
that you're free to talk about at this point.
It is. It's top secret. A lot of it. You mean like the Catholics?
Well, you go with whatever you got to go with on that.
See, you're trying
I was
to
thinking
argue,
of more of the aldermatic type of conspiracy. I didn't realize we were going straight to Vatican.
I'm trying to, I'm trying not to be killed. You realize that. I'm trying not to get bumped off at this point here.
Well, I know that.
After everything I've been through, but so you're trying to get me killed, which is okay. It's understandable. I've had that before.
Well, I'm not trying to get you killed. I just want to know. I mean, is there something that you'd like to disclose here that you've uncovered? Because I know that you are. You put those sunglasses on at night. You troll around downtown. You're looking for, the latest scandal.
You think, well, let's get somebody fired. You wake up in the morning. You've slept good.
Mm-hmm.
You say, let's get somebody fired today. That would be okay. But see, no. Well, that's not satisfying. Them state jobs, they come and go.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
We want jail. See, at this point here, we want, and because you can't go to the death level.
Right.
Let's get somebody killed, because then you'll be in jail.
Right.
So there's a happy medium there between get somebody fired, death, well, then there's jail. See, is in the middle.
So you're
the mob don't even kill you when you're in jail. You realize that? It's so unpleasant that if you do something against the mob but you go to prison, well, they wait till you get out. And then they kill you, because they realize that while you're in jail, you're suffering. You are suffering.
So you want to get them to that middle ground,
I think,
and then have somebody else take care of them.
I think that it's a moderating position. I really do. I think that jobs come and go. You can look for another job. You can find you another job, and of course, death's going to get us all eventually. So you don't have to rush that deal.
That's coming.
But that jail cell. See, now that's I've kind of fluttered back and forth, and I've kind of settled on that.
You like to see.
It's a system I believe in.
You like to see public officials end up behind bars. That's what your goal is on some of these.
Probably totally. I would have to say that's probably. I hate to say guilty, but I like hearing it better than I like saying it.
You like to hear about it.
It don't hurt me a bit. I think when the door slams, I think that it's probably only just to see the look on their face. I think that's what does it for me more than anything.
So let's look at it another way though. So what if someone pressured you to run for office? Now is that a job that you could hold safely without fearing
certainly.
that you'll get to that?
Certainly. My
point?
highest aspiration would be to spawn off a Tom Shafer-ish type clone who would catch me dirty after I'd been in for years and become rich and corrupted, and then would attempt to get me, jailed.
Uh-huh.
For some reason, from my leftover type of 60s, LSD-induced brain, that would have some symmetry to me. That would feel good to me, except for the part of me that was in the slammer.
Sure.
And I got to tell you another thing. If he wrote to me, I'd write back. See, that's why I'd be a better politician than these currently jailed politicians. The bunch we got right now that doesn't even have the courtesy to return a letter like a fan mail. They won't even write back. See, I'd be above that. I'd be a cut above.
So wait.
When they wrote to me in jail, I'd write back.
Forgive me for being a bit confused, but you say that you would like a clone of you to
some type of clone, some type of non-related person that became a public concerned activist, that like could
yourself.
dig up the dirt.
Sure.
A muckraker. But good at it.
Good at it.
Able to access the public airwaves. To move society forward like I have done, unearthing corruption, unearthing scandal, unearthing, sexual dalliances, and in that way, jailing the corrupt, freeing the downtrodden. See, this is my mission in life.
I know it is. I know it is.
What would Kennedy said, I don't shirk from this responsibility. I welcome it.
Well, no, I believe you do. So what would you do as mayor? What would be your first year in office as mayor of Springfield?
I'm not saying people wouldn't get their hair mussed. It'd be ugly. First, couple, 3, 4 months. Did you ever see my guy, buddy of mine, close personal friend of mine, Milton D. Lockjaw?
Yes, I have seen Mr. Lockjaw.
Just shoot him. His just shoot him philosophy. It's a theory that I'm comfortable with.
You're comfortable with if there's a problem, shoot him.
Just shoot him.
Just shoot him.
I delved deep into the firearms realm. I think probably my first 80 episodes. An attempt to train you're a good shooter, right? You're a rifleman.
Well, yeah, a straight shot.
I want to give you this here before it gets away from me.
Well, thank you so much.
I want to make sure when the end comes, because you realize that the system is going to fail. You know that.
It's going to come to a conclusion.
Are you ready? Okay, and there'll be a chosen bunch that'll survive. There'll be survivors, and I'm not saying you'll be one of them.
I do appreciate this. I do appreciate this. It's a nice book, and you've even put your autograph in there. So I'm looking forward to going through that.
You
But
read that.
am I
you don't owe
ready?
me nothing. You read that. You take that as far as you need to, and
But are we ready as a society? Are we ready to meet our? When you talk about the end, are we talking about the end of life, or are we talking about the end of society as we know it?
life as we know it. Cold drinks will be out. You'll have to drink hot beer, and that in and of itself will do in a bunch of people.
Is this
A bunch of people that I know won't survive that.
Is this a philosophy that you've always followed, or is this?
It's become revealed to me, okay, through constant toil and struggle and vigilance, and now it's become permanently embedded in the deepest part of my psyche. It won't be rooted out by any type of therapy known to man. No Prozac, no Effexor. None of your modern pharmaceuticals will ever have any effect on it. At least I like to think.
Is that the part of the problem? Modern
Too many or not
pharmaceuticals?
enough?
You tell me.
Well, these guys that are calling me up, break the Prozacs in half. I wish that'd end too. I don't need any more of that. But no, I think that everybody has a philosophy, and I'm happy to spread mine as just far and wide. Philosophy spreading, I think, is one of my major goals. Besides, the jailing of the corrupt.
Well, yeah, I mean
That's more of a pastime than it is a philosophy.
So when you wake up in the morning, Tom Shafer, you say to yourself, okay, number one, I'm going after public officials that have been corrupting our
Well, first thing
society.
I say is, where am I usually?
Well, okay.
But
all
after
right, all
I
right.
say that,
So we'll move to number two.
okay, number two.
Which might be what's for breakfast. So number three, we'll go to let's get those public officials behind bars before they die.
I do a diligent check to make sure that the ones that are already jailed are still in, because as you realize, man, they let them out like unbelievable.
Right.
There is no modern law and order. That's one of our big problems, modern law and order.
But then number four step, you take time out of your day to prepare for the end. And so
At least part of every day, certainly. Part of every day,
well,
certainly.
what do you do when you're preparing for the end? Is it lock and load, ready to go?
Yeah, well, that's another deal. That's just a standard there. All armed, all the time is pretty good enough for me.
Right.
Well,
who's coming to get us?
There's not any special bunch. You want names? You mean?
Well, no, because I think that might put me in some peril if you give me any names on the air. Why don't we say groups?
See, that's another thing. Where was I?
Well, we're talking about you're talking about locking and loading and being ready to go. Well, who are we locking and loading for? Who are we ready to have the gunfight with?
Again, like Milton D. Lockjaw says, who you got, who you need. See, that's the nice thing about like your Are You Ready pamphlet. See, you read that, take a few of those tips, then you won't have to worry about anything like that. You'll be much more prepared.
So you don't have to worry about who it is. It's what's about ready to happen.
That's right. Just probably at this point, it's probably just when it is now.
Well, that's not bad. So who in Springfield do you have the biggest beef with? Because you've dropped names here and there.
I've sued a few.
Okay, you've sued a few.
We've danced around. They call it battery. What do they call it? Assault, battery. We've done. I just figure it's a couple of guys working some things out. That's what I always call it.
Well, yeah.
But the state's attorney, he's got his own viewpoint. I guess that's all right.
Okay.
But no, I like to just kind of roam. Loose. And then just land on a spot.
Right.
and take a good look right there.
Okay.
Kind of look around.
Okay.
And see. Like I was over at the Capitol, and I seen this George Ryan, and I seen he was pretty much running loose, need to be reined in. Now, I don't know how many trials, how many arrests, indictments, suspicions, assault cases, re-assault cases, civil claims of, harassment, but they finally got him rooted out. The feds come in there, and they rooted him out. And, I tried to go to all this stuff, but you know how long it is on the train to get up there to Chicago to go to federal court? That's 4 hours on the train.
That's quite a bit.
And I'm not really a train traveler. I'm too antsy to sit still. I want to get up there, and I want to get in the second row, and I want to watch the trial. So I wish they'd have tried him in Springfield. But it was satisfying. The conclusion, of course, they dribbled it out slow, and they said, well, he won't be indicted because he ain't done nothing wrong. And then when he was indicted, they said he won't be convicted. Then when he was convicted, they said he won't get sentenced to no time. Then when he was sentenced to time, they said he won't do no time. So now he's got a big sentence hanging over his head. and out on an appeal bond, I believe.
So I take it you want to be the first guy to give him a pat on the back as he's walking through those.
You know, call me harsh. Call me harsh. I think I'm misunderstood. But somebody's got to slam the door. Somebody's got to give the door a big old slammer. And I don't see why it can always be a jailer that gets that. You know, they should auction that deal off.
Oh, you want to? Yeah, you want to take a little bit on that business.
If you could put $50 down and say, who wants to slam the door? Now, I'd turn the key or slam the door. I'm pretty flexible on that.
Now, in some cases, you might pull the lever.
I don't need, and you know, they have a camera guy going.
Right.
Yeah, I guess that's not a death penalty case, but.
Well, but I'm saying in some cases there might be a situation where you might.
Somebody's got to pull that lever and drop that trap door.
You seem like you've got that side to you.
It wouldn't cause me any lost sleep. Let's put it that way. You know, I sleep like a baby.
Right.
You know.
Right. So what do you think about Springfield media? You know, talk shows and all that. Are they working with us? You know, you and I in this public access, or are they working against?
See, you got to have a lot of hate.
Okay.
A lot of hate.
Okay.
Okay. That you can't do what I do unless you got a lot of hate. Let me, you know, my Kirk Douglas. A lot of hate. Okay.
That's
okay.
Good.
See
That's
what
good.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of hate. Okay. That's where you start.
Right.
And then you go from there. Now, if you can work up that much hate, well, then the rest of it will become clear.
But I mean, so how does that answer the question?
Well,
then, Tom.
You know, they're
about the local media.
Oh, I did. Well, let's see. I put a curse on them.
Oh.
I remember that one. Did you ever see the itchweed curse?
No, I did not see that.
I had some poison ivy with me, and I put it in front of the urinal register building. Well, right at that moment, a guy come out. You know, he started scratching.
Oh,
yeah, you missed us. See
you,
that?
You
You
got
missed
him
the mini
good
drop.
then, huh?
And you know, I'm sure that it wore off. I don't know if they're itching right now.
Right.
But that's the tone that you have to take with those kind of people. See, they don't talk to you; they just talk about you.
Right.
See, and that don't sit well with me. So I just try to give as good as I get.
Okay.
Now, of course, you know, if they want to friendly up, I'd be more than happy to friendly up. But if they want to play hardball, you know, I say batter up.
Yeah, batter up. So if they were to invite you on like a radio show, you'd be willing to? No.
That'd have to be a pretty darn courteous invitation. Radio, I don't really have a huge problem with. I've listened to it. I've spoken on it. I think they're a lot more immediate, and they're more ivory towerish.
Oh, okay.
Than the print media. But the print media, congressional left, academia, and media, the clams is what I call them. The clams, I don't have much use for them.
Okay. Well, Tom, unfortunately, I don't know how this happened, but we're out of time, and you know how that happens. But thank you so much for coming on the show, and hopefully we can have you again. And hopefully my co-host John will actually be alive and well to come in and do this with me.
I'm happy to be here, not under arrest, under indictment, or suspicion. So
good luck on future shows.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, Tom Shafer.
Hello, welcome to the party.
Hi, I've never met you before.
I know.
Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time. Having a good time. Just two guys and we're having a good time. Having a good time.